This is Couch and Keyboard, Jay High speaking. I just watched Midoffs 3 today, and I had some thoughts about it. I think it was a really good event, and I'm glad Tobo put it on. I really liked it. But I think I was overhearing Ludwig and Feinberg and some people had a little bit of critiques for the event. I think I would want to organize them and kind of give my thoughts about pretty much the entire event. Now, I'm not a streamer. Like, I stream occasionally, but I am not, my priority is the players and the bracket format. And viewership in terms of a competitive experience. So in terms of being a large streamer, I do not have anything to give there. But I will give my lens a little bit. I enjoyed it a lot. So I really appreciate the sincere excitement and energy. The commentary was really funny at times, and I thought that it was cool that they were excited about what was happening. And I think that can be really infectious. I saw chats going crazy, and when they're both in the end at the same time, and it's just a few seconds difference. That's really exciting stuff. That's what the clips are shown of that, and that is what everyone lives for. And so providing an environment for that to exist is very important. I'm glad the tournament happened, and it seems like it was, a positive experience for a lot of people. And it was serious. It wasn't just oh man, look at them flounder. I typed, LOL, look how bad they are. They can barely finish. There were some 30+ minute games, but for the most part, it was competitive. And I think it gives people I could do better than that. Kind of get up off the couch, try it yourself type thing. And I think that can be very beneficial for accessibility and growing the game. And it also just shows hey, you don't need to know people that are the very top of their craft, no pun intended. And you can just run a tournament with anyone. Tournaments are fun, no matter who is involved. The coaches were bought in. They cared. They were really, really determined. It wasn't just I'll help this guy that won't listen to me over and over. I've seen plenty of coach plus streamer combos, and sometimes it can be challenging, but I think that there was a lot of investment, not just because of oh, my name is attached to it, so I want it to be good. It was they cared for the people on their team. And I think that's good, because speedrunning is solo, but if you have a group around that solo activity, it can really I think the teams with the coaches were a good touch. And it was in the format of MCSR, ranked and all that. And I think that you could do a different format where it was you have a certain amount of time to do the best run possible, but you can reset in that time. I know Ludwig's World's Best Gamer, that Super also was in, did that, and I think that could be better, but it was in the MCR format, MCSR ranked format, and I think that's a pretty good promotion there. Using a bracket, because they did that, they decided to make it a bracket, and I think that is good. Double elimination. I don't like when a bracket insists on doing best of 3 or best of 5 or even best of 9, but you're playing someone way better than you. And in that moment is going to be so challenging to get to a point to where you beat them. So give yourself another chance. You can regroup in a later time, and you can play different people and see if you can go around them and show, hey, because there could be half the bracket that tie for 0-1 if it's single elim. But now you cut down it by half even more, so you have only 4 out of 16 going 0-2. Now, you could do it even more, but I understand it is challenging, and I think double elimination is a good compromise there. I like the production, and I wasn't always on the mainstream. Sometimes I would try and figure out, because I wanted to hear the coaches and the players talk, also hearing a little bit of feedback. So I was watching Feinberg and Lowy stream a lot, but sometimes I did see the mainstream. I thought it was good. I think that, again, I mentioned the commentators, they were bought in, and they were adding to the enjoyment of the experience. So I liked it. And you had, Twitch allows you to choose your preferences. You can be part of the mainstream. I prefer watching on YouTube because I like how you can like rewind and stuff and all that. And there was a few YouTube streams that I could do, and the chat wasn't quite the same, but that's fine. Like I can choose. And speaking of that, there was a lot of viewership. I think Tubbo had like 27K. I heard something it was like 80K or maybe even 100K across all streams. Like that's really good. I think that having the ability to have different people, like co-streaming is what Twitch is built off of right now. Like with Kadrill, with Jinxie, like all these people are co-streaming, and I think having different point of views in your kind of niche is a really good thing, and it got pretty big. Midoffs.live, the website, it's pretty good. I like the pick'ems. I might be offline now. Did they disconnect it? Oh, okay. Well, whatever. Oopsie. At the time it was cool. Yeah, like caring about the stages and like who goes when, like because some people only care about the finals. Like each individual set has so much like potential enjoyment out of it, and I think if you have like a fantasy type thing, in like each individual stage, I think that's really cool. And I think it was a good, nice hub. I remember seeing the Nuzlocke Invitational from Peach on Point Crow had a similar website where they had like the streams and like kind of a hub for that, and I think that's good to do. I think that having a central bracket place for a lot of people to use, I don't think a ton of people knew about it, but like enough people knew where it was like a big deal. I think that's awesome. I liked who they chose. I don't know a ton about the people that was competing. I mainly knew Ludwig and Super, but it seems like it was a good choice. The coaches and all that. It wasn't just like, okay, the highest viewer counts we can find. Like, yeah, there were some big ones, but like there was people all across the spectrum in terms of like small stream, big stream, all that. There was international. Tubbo being British, I can understand why he would want to have his side of the world represented. It was what? Ireland, UK, France, Costa Rica, Philippines. Yeah, like it's cool to see their representation. Now, I don't know about the racial diversity. Unfortunately, speedrunning is kind of a white thing. I can speak from experience. So I don't know. Sometimes it's hard to get those kinds of diversity, but there was gender diversity in that as well, and I think that's pretty good to see. It's good to see someone that you might relate to and be inspired by. I mean, all the time with like athletes. Like if someone looks like you, you're more likely to be inspired by them. I think that's awesome. Yeah, a lot of good things. I don't want to come in and say it was terrible, then awful. But I do think there's a lot of things that could be done well. It didn't seem like it was promoted super well. It had good viewership, but I didn't really know about it. I was watching Ludwig's basketball thing, and there was like a draft like right as it happened. I was like, wait, what? Like I think I'd heard about Midoffs or something about like Ludwig being involved in it, but I didn't know when it was, and so I happened to know when it was because of that. It seemed like it wasn't promoted super well on social media. People found clips of it, and having a multi-day event does help with that. But yeah, seeded kind of randomly. So the seeds, I understand like they had each part of the bracket prioritize not playing someone on your team. But I think you should have somewhat of a seeding condition when it comes to that. And like, I mean, you can go by PB and then but for general seeds, like for top 4, and then structure around that. And if you have 2 people on the same team, then top 4, you can you can switch 3 and 4 or something like that. Like you can play around with it and ensure that there is people on opposite sides while having seeding being somewhat good, because grand finals was 10 versus 13 out of 16. Like the seeding didn't really matter, and I think it's good to have like to ensure that there is somewhat of a level, because like also like some parts of bracket seemed a lot stronger than others. Like I don't know what was the weakest. I mean, I don't know. I think the paperback Juicy Bilzo D-Town Cat probably not a super strong part. Like Juicy did fine, but I think Juicy benefited from playing a volatile player in Ludwig rather than playing someone that was like it seemed like the like Bitzel had a rough bracket just based off of kind of bracket luck, and I think that having seeding more according to merit I think could be good. I think it was best of one for too long. Again, I think it's better to do best of one double elim than best of three single elim because you have more people that have more chances to play. They can take a break. They can have a different matchup, and I think it's better to do a double elim with best of one if you had to choose between. I think you should have a best of three part eventually. I understand people would want to have like earlier rounds because those people would lose, so they wouldn't have much of a chance. So there's an argument for all best of three, but I think that you could at least like top eight is a common cutoff for like okay that is the upper echelon of a bracket. You can even do top three. I don't like call it the Smasher in me with Evo's rules. But where they had only best of five grand finals when people were used to top eight being best of five, like and even winners finals when it was like the first matchup of Nominal Gravy and Super being best of one, like that seems like it should be best of three. And like I understand like some esports like their matches take a long time. These are pretty fast. I like yeah they have the potential to be long, but I don't know. I feel like it's fine to do more matches because you get top six. I don't know. I feel like you could do it longer. But whatever. Biggest issue I found was these next two. Well, this one and this one. But this one here, the team point structure encourages teams to lose early and try and farm lower bracket wins. I thought this was an oversight that was not good. It was not exploited very much, but it could have had a lot of like shenanigans here. Now it says the team receives 3 points for each win, 1 point for each loss. I assume the 1 point for each loss is to like make people feel a little bit better about like even if they lost, they still earned something if they didn't like disqualify themselves. And it also kind of goes into the leftover points from the team draft. I don't care about that. Like it's whatever. I feel like you should use up all your points to try and get the best teams possible. Because like it's like oh I just got whoever's left and they did fine enough. Because like Corway got fourth and yeah it was. I don't like this, but it's whatever. I think the main thing is a player getting fifth. Like, let's say Juicy loses to Ludwig. Gets the same amount of points as False Symmetry getting seventh. Because you have win-win, loss-loss, and then loss, win-win, loss. It's a different placing entirely, but it still earns you the same. I mean, if someone went losers round one, like let's say Saparata goes all the way up. 1, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. You could earn more points than the winner of the event just by farming losers. I think that's a huge oversight, and everyone in winner semis also made loser semis. Like there was no huge losers run. The most was like 2, and that's usually you can't really do more than 2 without because it alternates to where you have these are the people that lost, and there's not a I guess if it was like 24, it'd be alternating. But people move up, they play someone that lost. Then they play the winners of that, and they play someone who lost. Then they play the winners of that, and they play someone who lost. So it alternates every so often. So there's more losers matches. So if you feel confident in your ability, you should go to losers and farm as many points as possible. I understand that the points thing was not the priority here for the players, but that is an oversight that I think that you shouldn't have. It didn't get exploited, but it could have been, and I think that would be kind of it wouldn't be good for the uh, health of the event to have people find a loophole. I think like one thing that I've been doing with Smash tournaments is running a circuit based off of points and placings. And I have like a few different ways. I had an event where I did this, and I did like 30, 20, 15, 10, 8, 5, 4, 3, stuff like that. I also did like a full circuit where like I had this be, and like it would just multiply depending on the size of the event, whatever. I copied this and I tweaked it a little bit, and like it reminds me a lot of Mario Kart. I've been playing Double Dash recently, shoutouts, and so like a lot of times I don't know if it's the exact thing, but it's like here's the placings that you get, because for here you have 4 get 13th, 4 get 9th, 2 get 7th, 2 get 5th, 4 3rd, 2nd, 1st, and so you get the placing. Now placing isn't everything. Like in Smash, it matters who you beat often, along with the placing, like DQs and bad seeding, whatever. But like, I think that having a placing is more consistent. It's not perfect, but I think like it is pretty indicative, because it's not like I think if you could get 3rd and still get more points than the winner if you farm losers early. Because I mean, be 1, 4, 7, 10, 13, 16, 17. And this would be 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. Yeah, you could get 3rd and get more points. This is like some electoral college stuff. Like, I think that there is a huge exploit there. And if you want the coach points to matter, I don't think you should allow for that. I think you just go by placing. If you didn't DQ any of your matches, you went 0-2, you get 1 point. You do 2 points if you get 1 win, because it doesn't matter the order here. You could win and lose, or lose and win. Either way, you get the same placing at 9th. And then if you benefit from here because you get to skip this. If you win, you get a guaranteed extra 2 points instead of just 1 if you would win this. So like you benefit a lot from staying in winners, not only having to play less and risk losing less, you guarantee yourself more points. And I think that is what you should be encouraged to do. Not a huge deal, but I just feel pretty passionate about like making sure that that is part of it. And I think that also leads to it being hard to keep track of. Liquipedia was like it was the only place that had this, because I don't know what happened to that website, but it was manually updated. Like a lot of times it wasn't reliable, but it was something. I'm like, do I need to make my own spreadsheet to keep track of this? Is every person supposed to do that? Like, and I didn't always have my headphones in. Like they could have been saying it. I don't know, but I don't know. I think that it's important to have. It's important to have like a good way of keeping track of different things. And I think if you have the bracket, I didn't see any kind of points thing, so I think it is important to have that a part of it. Liquipedia was like manually updated after like seeing stuff, and it's nice to have, but it wasn't as reliable as I think you could have it on here. I think that would have been helpful. I think that you could have had a bracket reset. Some esports don't do bracket resets, some do. I like a bracket reset personally. I think that every person loses twice besides a winner is a good thing to have. I know it could potentially make it last longer. Like if you do best of 3, then a best of 3, that could be potentially 6, which is like more than all. Like this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like losers top 8 leading up to grands is the same amount as what could be here. I get it, but I do think that is worth considering. Maybe you can even, like, I saw the person in winners had an advantage in the seed pick. I don't know. Like, I think it's good to give an advantage. You could do a best of 5 with person in winners getting a point, or something like that. Like that's how early Melee used to do it with finishing. Like they do like a first to 5 with like how many you won in winners being part of that, or something like that. I think you could do something like that, but whatever. I think it's not a huge deal as a personal preference, but the biggest thing with the bracket was just wrong. I saw Feinberg talking about it. It affected his player when Bitzel had to play FBO twice. That should not happen. I understand like this here was like a manual bracket. From what I saw, it seemed like they were doing things because the choices for how the bracket was set up, it didn't really make sense. How a bracket is supposed to work is, I mean, obviously single limb super easy, but double a limb, you're supposed to flip flop every so often, sometimes like intermixing depending on the size of the bracket, to ensure there's not double jeopardy, which is playing the same person twice. You could have had a lot of potential, like false symmetry and Bitzel. That shouldn't have happened. If Ludwig had beaten Super, they would have rematched here, and then a rematch here. Like it was just not. It was not adequately done to where it is fair. Now, it would have been fourth instead of fifth for Bitzel, so it's not like it would have changed that much. But I do think like that is really bad bracket luck. And like yeah, Ebbo lost a nominal gravy, so like Ebbo probably wouldn't have gotten like above it, whatever. Even with different seeding, like Bitzel probably gets third or fourth. But I do think it's important to at least allow for different matchups because I mean Bitzel versus Juicy, Ludwig versus Ebbo. I think that's an interesting matchup there. I think that like Bitzel and Ebbo being a strong side of the bracket here, like being winners quarters, which is top 12, and then meeting in losers top 6. Like they are the stronger part of their bracket, and Bitzel ran into the same guy twice. That's not fun. Even though it's like it's racing instead of like directly head to head, it's still unfortunate to play the same person twice like that frequently. So I recommend using either Challenge or StartGG. Liquipedia is good at displaying it, but it's not really a thing for like anyone can make. I use StartGG because it has integrated like payments and accounts and advertising and all that. But if you want to do something real fast and just put it on this page, just do Challenge. It literally took me 5 minutes to do this. I also included the team that they were on. So like yeah, this was super easy. Like I timed it; it was like 5.5 minutes, and I seeded it and everything. I even put the team they were on, and so if I wanted to do this, I could. I mean, it's super easy. I could just it was Evo. It doesn't really matter. I mean, I could have done one, I guess. Like it is literally so fast, and anyone can get this link. So it was Bitzel. And then this was Nominal Gravy. And then this was Super Eloise. And then this was Ludwig. Super. Like, it is so easy to do this. Juicy won this one. And let's see, it was what? Bilzo. So, losers round 1 was correct. Lexi Marie, false symmetry. Yeah. And then you had Deminishki, excuse me. Saparata, and who did I do? Yeah, I did that wrong. And like it is very simple to just do that. Like you don't have to manually code it or do anything. It's just super easy. D-Town Cat, yeah. And so, and you have these matches. It was Evbo. It was Nominal Gravy. It was Super. And it was what? Juicy? Yeah. So this is how it should have gone. It takes the top and really flips them. Again, if there's a larger thing, it doesn't just automatically do that. Sometimes it like does that, but it had it to where it was like Super Eloise was like here, and Biss was like right here, and like Ludwig and all this stuff. Like Ludwig was what D-Town Cat, Bilzo was here. Like you have two potential like rematches here and here from these sides. You're supposed to be on the other side to have less opportunity to play the same person. Like that is the point of a loser's bracket, is to play different people. You have another chance, but you're not playing the same guy twice or girl. But you're trying to mix and match it, so it should have been like this. And winner's bracket went fine. There was nothing wrong with because I mean single limb is pretty idiot proof. Anyone can do a single limb bracket, and so it went like this. And so it should have been Bitzel versus Juicy, assuming Bitzel beats Saps. Which I assume Bitzel would do this. And then Ludwig versus Ebba. That's how it should have been. But whatever manual bracket they did, I think they just guessed. I understand if you want to have people on the brackets but like that would be, it wouldn't be early. And you could arrange it to where it wouldn't happen until it was like losers top 6 or something. Like you could arrange it to where it would be very late and to where it's like, at that point, good. One of us gets top 4. Like, that's a good thing. Like, it shouldn't have to be grand finals when they meet. If you're having other people fight the same person on another team twice. So, that was something that really irked me. It's whatever. I don't think anyone had a terrible experience from it. Like some people were probably annoyed having to play the same person twice. You wish you could prove that, like, oh, that person that plays better than me, I think I could do better than them. I just got stuck in my bracket. But whatever. Like, I don't think it ruined the event, but I think you just, like, use this and embed it or, like, update screenshots onto your thing every minute or something. Like, I don't know. Like, you don't have to customize it. You could just literally use a already established. And this is more, like, not more official, but, like, it's a little bit, like, this you can literally add whatever text here. And you usually don't attach any accounts if you're just doing it remotely. You can, but usually people just do it in like a short amount of time. StartDG it takes more time. It's people can search easier, all this kind of stuff. We use StartDG because it helps with like data and whatever. But use Challenge, that's fine. You do either one. Like just have it to where it is set up, established to where you don't have to worry about trying to figure out who plays who. Just plug and chug. So I think that is way better. As a viewer, I've kept up with Minecraft here and there. I knew that times were like usually anywhere from like 15 to 30. Like, so like the first 10 minutes, it didn't really engage with me. Like sometimes I would like keep up with, like sometimes there'd be early stuff that mattered, like Ludwig and Super and certain players had important stuff happen early on, but a lot of times it's like, they're just going whatever. And like, I think that you can use the, like, what Smash commentators do when there's a long set. You introduce the players as the first game goes. Because if it's best of 3 or best of 5, that first game is not going to determine anything. You can stop and talk about something exciting, but giving more context, more background, and, like, all this kinds of stuff. Like, for example, talking about their pace, the PBs, more details about runs, not ruins. Could have been shown while, like, during those first 10 minutes. Like, you could have a lot more going on. They showed it after, which I think was really cool, but I didn't see a lot of that in the moment. And maybe I missed it. But I think that there's a lot of stuff that can keep viewers engaged, where it's like, oh, who do you think is going to do this first? I don't know if you want, like, run predictions and stuff on Twitch or whatever, but, like usually they just do, like, the game or whatever. But, like, you could do a prediction about that kind of stuff. You could, like, the commentators could say, like, okay, their best is this, their worst is this. Let's see how this reacts. Like, a lot of times when there's like I've been watching basketball, and if there's like a pause for something, like a commentator will bring up a random stat. Like, I watch a lot of Hornets games coming from North Carolina, and they have a really good commentator. He'll bring up some random stat, like, who's the guy that did this 30 years ago? And the other commentator tries to guess it. Like bring up random stuff where it's like, oh, Ludwig did this sometime a year ago. Like, oh, who did Super play? Like if there's any kind of like lull instead of just like, and then he gets the iron, and then he tries the fig, and then he gets the ender pearl, and blah blah blah, and he's mining, and like instead of just showing, like, telling someone what's on screen that's already watching, I think you could have a little bit more interaction with that. I do think, especially at the ends, like, that was super exciting. But I think the first, there was like a 12-minute time, but like usually they were 15 or 20 or 30. And so like it was like, okay, I'll check in like 5 minutes to see how it goes because I don't really care about this right now. Like it's not going to end, and it's like there's just little tweaks here and there. But overall, I think it's awesome. I think accessible events, especially with streamers using it for advertising, can super help a game. I mean, like MCSR ranked has been exploding. Like it is so cool how many people are involved in that. I'm a little nervous about it, but I want to try it. And I think like it's super fun to have a leaderboard for speedrunning. Usually it's like not just a leaderboard, like an elo for speedrunning, because that's about consistency. And I think that's really cool to have stuff alongside of that. And I think that getting more people involved and like have pressure behind it, like you don't know how much you care until you try. Like put yourself out there. I think it's really cool to display that kind of stuff. And I want it to be Midoffs 4 and all these other things. I want them to be as good as possible. And sometimes I'm a little picky, but I think that there's a lot more potential of it being an even better event. I really enjoyed it, and I want to see it next time. I'm a Ludwig viewer, occasionally super, but I'm probably going to watch it either way, just because like I found it enjoying. I like even if I side monitor, like refresh the bracket just to keep up, I'm probably still going to keep up with it. Like PogChamps. Like sometimes seeing people where they have more potential to mess up is exciting because it's very random. Like you like it's very surprising what can happen. So I think that like a lower level competition can still be really exciting. So good stuff to Tubbo and all those people that went into the event. I really enjoyed it, but I do think it could be better next time. Yeah, I'll be watching. Peace out.